Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Hi, my name is Codi Childs, host of the VYBE Online, and today I have two special groups with me. The first of which is comprised of former The VYBE host, Brian Ingram, aka Mista B, his wife, Katanya, aka K'Note, and their director-daughter, Kenya Ingram. The second of which is another husband and wife music duo, the Agape Music Group, John and Sequoia Howard, along with director Justin Jordan. Both groups have released music videos this year, the Ingrams, Freedom March, and the Howards, Flow Like Water, both containing footage from the protests that have happened this year, along with messages of the church, God's love, and water. So if you could, for me, briefly explain the concept behind this music video, we're gonna go ahead and start with the Ingrams' Freedom March.
Wake up, y'all. It's time for the people to hit the streets. It's about that time. Yeah. We need more woke brothers over beats. K'Note, let's go.
All my people come to the river. All my people come, be delivered. Learn to do what's right. We're marching in His side. All my people come, be delivered.
It's time to free your mind. It's time to break this curse. It's time to get in line. It's time to immerse ourselves in the divine. It's time to rehearse the power in the rhyme, the accuracy of the verse. Encouraging the people to put the neighbor first. Challenging the system to not try to hurt. To the people in the hood, yo, don't do. To that clergy, do good. Share that in your purse. Yo, I'm thinking about Jesus and how He assigned us to lead the walls, disciple people right. Before they get discipled, they gotta change their mind. Before they join the march, be willing to give a dime. Be willing to change the time. Be willing to stand high. Like the eagle, we gon' fly high. We marching like them soldiers in 63-9. Tighten up your ties, sisters right by our side. Freedom.
All my people come to the river. All my people come, be delivered. Learn to do what's right. We're marching in His side. All my people come, be delivered.
I see you study a lot, degrees on your wall. The enemy got a plot to make the people fall. The system got a shot, won't you answer God call? Have you forgot about Jackie Baseball? Left his own lead, trying to unite us all. That league needs some help now, I'm trying to tell y'all. Am I preaching to myself? Jews need an overhaul. Sunday is the most separated day of Methodist, Baptist, separated over this. Got free will, people fighting with Calvinists. One church rock guitars, one church singing hymns. Can we all become one and give praise to Him? Can we all become one God synonym? Marching for the people, injustice anonym. Going to the church house and making it a gym. Going to the courthouse to rescue Slim. Freedom.
Okay, so my thoughts when we were making this video, I purposely edited the video with them being in the screens to kind of show how we need to stop looking through the screens and actually get on the streets. And that's why, like, at one point in the music video, Brian Ingram, he like touches the screen and it goes away. So it's just kind of like, let's stop just only connecting through screens and not actually putting foot to mouth, you know. So that was like my whole thing behind the video and the different scenes, the different shots just shows how we're reaching all different people, whether you're broke, you know what I mean, the TV that was in the garbage, you know, with broke people, or the flat screen TVs. Like, this isn't a class thing. Like, everyone needs to be partaking in this movement. And that was my thoughts behind the video.
Wow.
I just
Wow,
had,
that's powerful.
and I just had this thought too, just as you were speaking. I think as well that one way that I look at it too is that systemic racism affects all African American and
Yeah.
Black
yes.
people,
Oh, yes.
regardless if you're wealthy, regardless if you're homeless,
Yeah.
you know, that it affects. I just had that thought.
No, that's
And,
so true.
and so it's, you can't escape it, you know, based on your financial situation. So that's just a thought I
And
had.
every group, class won't change, you know, for everybody. Desires change. It doesn't matter what, you know, label of life you're in or stage of life that you're in. Everybody is looking for you.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
why when they're saying come, my people come, it's like, come on, come in the streets and like really just walk out your faith with different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, get out of your comfortability.
For sure. Definitely a call to action, I feel like, was kind of the vibe behind your video. What about Flow Like Water? Could you speak to that?
I know you're working, but right now it's hard to see you move, and yeah, I'm not okay. Some things I just can't excuse, like the hate in their eyes when they look at the men I love, this anger inside when I see how they're killing us, and how I feel helpless and how I feel stuck. And even though I am strong, it don't seem like enough. And no, I'm not okay. God, when will this ever change? Hear my heartbeat, see these tears, see my blood, feel these fears, feel my pain, feel my passion, feel my struggle. All I'm asking is to see my sons and see my daughters. I'm on this altar looking for you. Let your love flow like water. Let your love, let it flow like water. Let it flow like water. Let your love rain down on me. Let it flow like water. We need your love. Let it flow like water. Flow like water. Let your love rain down on me.
I would not apologize for hating racism. I would not apologize for being black. I would not apologize for being exactly who I am, or forever having George Floyd's back. Blacker than ever, wearing my hoodies, dog in my neighborhood, riding bikes, popping willies. Nappy-headed and Christian, praying for God's position, marching for freedom while I'm out reaching the opposition. I'm hand-waving and smiling, killing it with my kindness. You don't like it, you can bite it. Blame my maker, he's the goddess. Ain't no rest for the wicked, I'm out working the violent. Swing my fist at the ballot, I fully accept the challenge to be the change that I wish to see. Extending handshakes to those who throwing rocks at me. They call me sellout for saying pray for my enemies. I'm still angry, but I'm using it strategically and protesting peacefully.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background. It was actually based off of the verse of scripture, Amos 5, verse 23 and 24, where God basically was getting on his own people when they were doing the most, and was like, you know, I don't want to hear any more of your songs. I don't want you to make any more sacrifices to me, but let justice flow like streams of water. Let righteousness flow like streams of water. So the concept of the song in general came from a standpoint of feel what you feel. Like, those feelings are justified. They are real. We are hurting. We are angry. You know, we are concerned and all of that. But at the end of it all, let the love of Christ Let the love of Christ overtake all of that, wash all of that, and then let that same love illuminate, because love is the only thing that can indeed overcome hate. And Justin came up with a lot of the imagery for all of what was shot. So Just, you want to speak on some of that?
That's actually one of the stars of the video just popped up behind John and Sequoia. One of the, I was so angry and so had so many emotions over the past 3 weeks, and I really wanted to capture how beautiful the song was, and how angry, how righteously angry the song was in visuals, and to really have a message that wasn't going to turn off any listener, regardless of which side they were on. And I thought, what is one thing that people will look at, regardless of whether they're Democrat or Republican or black or white? And I was like, cats. People love cats, but that doesn't really make sense with this. How about kids? People love kids. So the part that many people have said that they broke down in tears on was when they saw the children. And we really tried to capture and say that we are all children. George Floyd is someone's child. And at the end of the day, we're all on the same, we're all God's children. We're all American citizens. We're all children of this country. We've made this country great, and we deserve just as much respect and as much citizenship and just as much treatment as anybody else.
Absolutely. And I think it's incredible how both videos were able to turn your frustration and, like you said, your anger into this beautiful piece of art that we now have forever, and it's kind of a monument to the movement that's going on. So I guess we'll just kind of stay in the same order, just doing, you know, the Ingrams and then the Howards. What's been the reception of the music video so far?
I would say positive.
Yeah.
A lot of positive feedback from people, just in the comment sections that we receive. A lot of it is thought-provoking, you know, bringing a visual to things people never thought about before, you know, and a lot of thank yous. You know, you get a lot of thank yous for making music to touch on the climate, you know, of this nation.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, we've received a lot of love and just a lot of comments about how incredibly powerful the message is. You know, just of like we said earlier, just being angry and hurt and having all of these raw emotions, but having some kind of having a resolution in our message to say, you know, this is terrible, this is unthinkable, but you know, just allowing for God's love to ultimately carry us through this and heal us and wash us with his love in the midst of all of it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna tag on real quick to that, because I think we have a responsibility as Black Christian creatives to make sure that we are creating in truth, make sure we're creating in love, make sure that what we're creating is absolutely relevant. But at the end of the day, it has to always point this way, you know, because if it's not pointing back to truth, love, peace, integrity, you know, all of those things that God is, then it's just like everybody else. It's just bops for bop's sake, you know. So,
Great. And I'd like to add as well that it's interesting that I want to say it's Jeremiah talked about this. I want to say Jeremiah 9:23. It says that if you do anything, God said, if you boast in anything, boast in that you know God. And then basically God was saying the rich man, if you're wealthy, don't boast in your riches, but boast in the Lord. And this is what's interesting. When they get down near the 23, 24 verse, it says, if you boast in anything, boast in that you know God, and that you know God is a God loving kindness, righteousness, and justice. Often we hear and people talk a lot about the love of God, but God's attribute is justice. That's one of his attributes. And wherever justice is absent, loving kindness and righteousness is not present. Wherever love is absent, justice and righteousness,
right,
you know, it's not present. So if there is love, righteousness, and justice is who he is. So wherever God is present, there is going to be justice, and there's going to be love, and there's going to be righteousness. So this message that we're sharing, it's who God is. And we always hear about the love of God, you know, but a lot of people, when they hear God, the first thing don't come out is justice, and that's who he is. So I just wanted to make that point as well with these songs. And even I love you all video, Flow Like Water. I loved it because it was dealing with, you know, that issue of justice and righteousness and love. And as Christians, we need more songs that's rooted in justice. We got a whole lot of love songs, but we need more songs that's about justice. I just want to add.
Absolutely. So I think you just touched on it in terms of, you know, the need for more music that speaks to that. So will you be making more music that speaks to the climate of America today?
Well, actually, I just dropped another video that this is my daughter, Kenya. I don't know if we identified that, but this is
yes.
Well, you did? Okay, sorry about that.
Yes.
All right. My bad. But Kenya just directed Justice, a video, a song I wrote a few years back. But it's interesting, I wrote these songs and I didn't do a video to it, but they're so relevant right now. And we actually went to the One Race March downtown Atlanta. It was so awesome. You had over maybe 10,000 people there. We were worshiping God together, crying out to the Lord together in Centennial Park. And we marched to the Capitol and back to Centennial. And we shot the video literally at the march and when we were on the street marching, and different footage of people from all different backgrounds and ethnicities crying out for justice. So it's that's the second effort that just came after Freedom March. So if you all just put in Justice, Mista B, it's on YouTube, it's also on my Facebook page, you can check it out as well. And we got a couple of thousand views so far on Freedom March, and we're nearing like 1,000 on Justice. We just released it 2 days ago. So to answer your question, yes, we just released Justice, and we plan to, my wife and I, you know, we're songwriters, we plan to we're continuing to write songs that that's centered on justice as well. So the answer is yes.
Great.
Yeah, and we will, I said a moment ago that as Black Christian creatives, we are always having to make sure that everything that we put out is in truth and love and it's relevant. So we'll definitely be putting out more things. It may not be as super direct and as forward as this last one is, but I think that our experiences help to shape what we create a lot. And even in some of our previous songs, you know, our name is the Agape Music Group. So a lot of our music is about God's heart towards his people, which as Brian, that's your name, as he pointed out, you know, that's a part of God's heart. Justice is right in there. So yeah, you'll definitely be hearing more music from us that is relevant.
Fantastic. I don't know, Justin, if you're working on anything.
Let's go, Just.
Ironically, John and Sequoia are wonderful good friends of mine, and John actually produced my first project. And I haven't made music in a long time because I haven't had anything to say. And because of everything that's happened in the past year and 3 weeks, now I have a whole lot to say. So I don't know exactly the direction, but right now it's all directly regarding justice and dealing with the social injustices and the systemic racism and the uplift of our community and our people.
We'll definitely have to look out for it for sure. We need that.
And I just want to take a second to applaud to applaud the Ingram family and the Howard family. It is so awesome to see a husband and a wife working together, and a daughter, you know, a family together on the same page, making great, amazing music. I salute both of you. Keep doing great things.
Thank you, man.
Yes, yes. So how do you speak to the youth, to our youth, in terms of, you know, just the social injustice that's happening? I'm sure there are a ton of questions and, you know, just confusion and anger. How do you speak to our youth?
Did y'all want to knock that out at all? And then I got a little something, but y'all go
I mean, for one, I would say be aware. You know, make yourself knowledgeable of what's happening in the climate. One of the most encouraging things that we have with our youth today is something that is way different that may have been 10 to 15 to 20 years ago, whereas we have more ethnic groups joining in relationships, friendships, and you see that. And you have youth today that are standing up for their friends, but I would encourage them to understand the temperature of what's going on, understand the history behind what's going on, because these are your friends. You can love them, but you also need to love where they've been, where their family have been, so that when you see those things that are happening in their community, your heart will be drawn to speak out, you know, maybe begin to do a protest in a sense to kind of bring the awareness and the support, you know. So I would tell young people to become knowledgeable of what's going on, to understand the history behind where we are today and why and how we've gotten here, and to make action, turn your frustration and your anger or whatever you have for your love for your people or your friends or people you care about that are not non-white, or even if you are African American, turn your frustrations into action. Get involved. Find some way to get involved.
Did you want to say something to speak to young people?
If I was speaking in to speak to
young
people, yeah, well, to speak to me and others.
But you say to your peers.
To my people, I would say, I'm so proud of y'all. I've just been on social media and I've seen so many people doing GoFundMe's for people who've been locked up, and I've just been seeing so many good things. And I really do feel like right now the youth is leading this, and it's so beautiful, you know. And I'm just seeing so many people just open up, you know, about what they've been through. And I'm seeing people who are non-African American are just loving on them, and it's really so beautiful. Like, because, you know, I'm on social media and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I would say keep doing that, and if you're not doing that, you can find your voice in small ways, and you're never too young to speak up. I saw this one video of this little girl. She was probably like 7 or something like that, and she just wrote on her street, you know, Black Lives Matter, and there was just so many people like, man, like, that's so amazing, because it was like all she could do. I mean, she doesn't have money to give, or she can't drive herself to a protest, but it's like, you know, just making those little things.
Yeah, awesome. And I would just add, I just wrote a few things down. So study, which Katanya already said, become more literate in Black history. That's what I would say to my young African Americans. Be more literate, know the history, watch documentaries, whether you're on Netflix, watch the 13th, watch the Khalif Browder story, When They See Us, dig, and become more literate. And even The Color of Compromise is a good read as well. So I would challenge them to just begin to read, dig into history as well. Vote, okay? We need young African American people to vote, to get involved in that process as well, and ask tough questions. Know your history concerning voter suppression, and all of the things that has happened, how Black people are disproportionately sentenced, disproportionately arrested. Ask those tough questions, and not just ask those tough questions, but then begin to seek solutions. Build allies with your white friends, because the reality is that we need white allies in this struggle. And it's a lot of young white kids that's cool with young Black kids, and they need to link up with some of them are, but that I think is important. And last but not least, I was saying study, vote, ask tough questions. Oh, and we need young people, any of you all that has an inkling of a desire to be involved in the criminal justice system. We need more African American judges. We need more African American lawyers. So I would encourage young African American, if you have any desire to be in politics or anything, go for it. Go to law school. We need our law schools just filled with African American brilliant young minds that can change our future and get equality back and bring balance to our and to unclog the arteries of justice in America.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, they put it so beautifully, just educating yourself on like they said, the history, getting involved, finding out how you can get involved, but in being engaged and staying engaged to so that we can see some change, see change, period, and just be the change that you want to see. I think Justin summed it up in the song Flow Like Water, like us being the change that we want to see, us setting the example. And it doesn't matter about your age, how old or how young you are. You have a voice, and you have a purpose in this. And so yeah, that's what I'd say.
And being engaged in the great works that God has given you, because I think that some people are protesters, and we need that. Some people are politicians, we need that. Some people are creatives, we need that. You know, all of those pockets, those are all working together. So whatever it is that you're passionate about in this fight, in this journey to justice and equality, like, do that and do it with everything you have.
Yes. Justin?
So to every young person out there, be like Kenya and use your voice, whether it's with a microphone or a camera or with politics or being a school teacher or whatever it is. Be the change you wish to see.
All right. Well, I mean, we've gotten a lot. This was meaty. This was hearty. We got a lot from this conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me and our viewers. One more time, my name is Codi Childs, and you've been watching The VYBE Online.